Okay. We are live. Hello and welcome to the New York Sports Show, America's number one all in New York sport podcast. I'm Dominic Konowski. It has been reported that Aaron Rodgers is heading over to the New York Jets, which with even New York Jet players posting on Twitter that they could finally relax hearing the news. But then it was reported that it was fake news. Aaron Rodgers is not coming over to the New York Jets. So what the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? Is Aaron Rodgers coming? Is he not coming? Well, I'm going to provide some live updates for you guys for a little bit, just to see what the heck is going on in Jetland. Aaron Rodgers, he went from being a New York Jet, being welcomed by players already, to now, hold up, wait a minute. The news hasn't fully broken yet. What was released is false. As of now, Aaron Rodgers is not a New York Jet. That does not mean that he will not be a New York Jet, let's say an hour from now. It could have just been a little bit, some details coming out before that. Maybe Aaron Rodgers wants to announce it himself on the Pat McCaffrey show. But as of now, Aaron Rodgers is not a Jet. But let's see what we know. Jimmy Garoppolo, he was signed by the Las Vegas Raiders. Mike White, he was signed by the Miami Dolphins. And then not too long ago, Derek Carr, this is about, a week ago, he was signed by the New Orleans Saints. So now you have Aaron Rodgers. Who did the New York Jets go for? If they're not able to get Aaron Rodgers, that's a huge question mark right there. Do you go for Marcus Mariota, who was benched by the Falcons? Do you give up a ton and get Lamar Jackson? That's probably the most likely option that Joe Douglas and Woody Johnson will end up doing, is going and getting Lamar Jackson. Or would, if you're in the New York Jet front office, would you consider Ryan Tannehill? Yeah, it will be interesting to see. Look, I love Aaron Rodgers. I'd love to see Aaron Rodgers come over to the New York Jets, but is it worth it, though, if we're going to give up too much to get him, especially if he only ends up doing one season? Look, if Aaron Rodgers comes over and plays for the Jets for one season and calls it quits, then 100% the Jets got finessed by the Packers. And I do agree, Lamar Jackson would cost a huge amount of money and probably 1 or 2 draft picks in the first round. It's gonna be interesting, and it's scary to see what's gonna happen, because the Jets have put all their marbles in on acquiring possibly Aaron Rodgers, and right now, I don't know, it doesn't look that likely. They met on Tuesday, it's now Monday, and nothing's happened. Usually, if you go on a date or you meet with someone that you want to be with your organization, you don't hear from them for a few days, and you start getting concerned. But almost a full week later, I guarantee you right now in the Jets front office, there's a big red alert siren going off. If this rumor is false and Aaron Rodgers is not coming to New York, at least for today, I would imagine that the Jets front office and the people that work in there have to be getting a little nervous. Because it's either Aaron Rodgers or Lamar Jackson. As I said, you're going to give up a lot to get Lamar Jackson. I think that the Jets sort of gave some kind of offer, though, to Mike White. But Mike White, he could probably be a starter. It's going to be interesting to see what ends up going on with Tua Tagovailoa there in Miami. Are we going to see the Dolphins make Mike White the starter? I mean, Tua, he had, 2 or 3 concussions last year. In my opinion, he should have announced retirement for safety reasons. Having that many concussions in that short amount of time is extremely dangerous. He needs to start thinking about his future. He made his money, and, the money's not going to get you anywhere if you have a lot of brain damage and, you can't fully live your life and stuff like that. And, he has to think about, I'm pretty sure he has kids too. It has to be a scary situation for him, so I would love to know what ends up going on with Mike White, if we'll see him start some games, have him go on a mini revenge tour. He started 8 games for the New York Jets, has a losing record in New York, but can you really blame him, though, for that losing record? I mean, he put up a lot of good games. It was just either the Jets' defense last year not able to come through, or the Jets' offensive line not able to come through in the games he started this season for Mike White. And I gotta say, folks, if you're a New York Jet fan, if you're just a New York sport fan in general, we talk about every single New York sports team. We interview players. We do a deep, in-depth analysis on trades and rumors in general. And overall, this is just the best place for you to be. Subscribe if you end up liking this live stream. And if you just are a New York sport fan in general, it's very appreciated. I'm happy that the Jets, though, did not get Jimmy Garoppolo, because Jimmy Garoppolo, if you look at his injury history, he only averages about 10 games per season. So you're going to have to wait for about 6 or 7 games, who would be the starter if Jimmy Garoppolo falls down to injury. Now, he does not get injured that much, but the injuries he has suffered in his career are very huge injuries, keeping him sidelined for quite some time, and 100% that's scary, and that's something to think about. Personally, I did not want New York to get Jimmy Garoppolo, and of course they ended up not getting Jimmy Garoppolo. I would have went with Derek Carr. If I had to choose between Derek Carr and Jimmy Garoppolo at the time, I would have definitely pursued Derek Carr. It's going to be interesting to see if Aaron Rodgers does become a Jet. How long will he be a Jet? We talk about a 1-year deal, maybe 2 years with a 30-year option, maybe just 3 years straight up with possibly a 4th-year option. If Aaron Rodgers becomes a New York Jet, immediately, and I mean immediately, the New York Jets would be a Super Bowl contending team. They got to work a little bit on their O-line protecting the quarterback, but they would be a Super Bowl contending team. They would definitely be a playoff contending team with Super Bowl hopes. It's just a matter of who will be their quarterback if it's not Aaron Rodgers. The New York Jets, they have a Super Bowl winning defense. They have a playoff contending offense. What they need is a competent quarterback. Could have Zach Wilson been the quarterback that we all thought he would have been if it wasn't for maybe a rookie or OC and head coach? Maybe, but you can't base it on maybes. The fact is, Zach Wilson was absolutely disgusting in the 2 seasons he played with the New York Jets. And with that, maybe sitting behind Aaron Rodgers, if he becomes a Jet, will do some good things for Zach Wilson's development. But I feel like the Jets are giving Wilson the E.J. Manuel treatment. If you guys are familiar with the Buffalo Bills, a few years back, they drafted E.J. Manuel in the 1st round. He ended up being a bust. They benched him in place of a veteran presence, and then he ended up going on with the wages, not even in the NFL anymore. Zach Wilson, he was really only known for in the headlines, and I guess if you want to consider a positive way, because he slept with his mom's best friend. That's really the only thing that wasn't really negative towards Zach Wilson for this most recent football season. He got injured in the preseason trying to run the ball, and then we had to see Joe Flacco. That right there should make Zach Wilson bench for 2023. The fact that we had to deal with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco did not look like he wanted to be out on the field at all. And I tell you, that was, I think, the funniest few games. And you know what? He was top 5 in passing. After week 3, he was a top 5 passer for passing yards after week 3 because he had that great game against Cleveland. But he sucked in the season opener against his former team, the Baltimore Ravens. So I keep refreshing Twitter. As of now, there's no current Aaron Rodgers update other than the news that was released is incorrect. It's false. Maybe someone jumped the gun and they don't want it to be out right now. But nevertheless, as of now, Aaron Rodgers is not a Jet. Now, if this live stream ends and it is announced that Aaron Rodgers is heading to the New York Jets, I will make a video on that. So as I mentioned before, if you are a Jet fan or overall a New York sport fan, this is the place you want to be. This is the place you gotta be. Subscribe. Please consider subscribing if you're liking this live stream so far. It's very appreciated. And it's gonna be interesting to see how things play out. I gotta say, and this may be a hot take. It may be a hot take. If Aaron Rodgers is not a New York Jet come Thursday, he's probably not going to be a New York Jet. It may be a hot take for some. It may just be a reality for others. It really depends what your opinion is on Aaron Rodgers. And I would just love to see what you guys think of this. So, yeah, please comment down below what you guys think if Aaron Rodgers, if you want him to become a New York Jet at this point, or if you just want this whole thing to end. Personally, me, I would love to see Rodgers be a Jet for like 2 or 3 seasons, but at the same time, I'm just like, let this misery end. Oh my gosh. You know, the deal's done. The deal's not done. The deal is about to be done. They're just waiting on 1 or 2 more key things in the talks. We haven't gotten a straight answer, and it's so frustrating. Especially, we are in 2023. We are in the day where everyone has social media, everyone has a phone, everyone leaks stuff. As of now, there's been nothing to really say, hey, Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Jet, because, a lot of factors point, yeah, he's going to be a Jet, but there's also a lot of factors and a lot of other people saying, hey, he's not going to be a Jet. So, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what ends up coming out of all of this. You would think Aaron Rodgers himself, at this point, what is there much more to think about? He went on the darkness retreat. He's been on the Pat McAfee show. How many times got interviewed by former Jet wide receiver Brandon Marshall the other day? I think it's coming down to 1 or 2 things. Aaron Rodgers is going to announce his retirement, or he's going to be a New York Jet. Because I'm pretty sure that Green Bay has made it clear to him that he's not going to be their quarterback, and they're going to go with Jordan Love for 2024, if not, then at least, not 2024, 2023, if not, then 2024. So I kind of jumped the gun on that, and everyone else is jumping the gun on Aaron Rodgers. Either that, or he just doesn't want the news out himself. Knowing how Aaron Rodgers is, the way he controls the media, I feel like he's going to announce it himself. I don't think it's going to be through an NFL reporter or some, little source. I think he will make the announcement himself. And this reminds me in a way as LeBron James's announcement, and when he ended up just not doing anything. He was on national TV for that announcement. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. And as I said earlier, this is reminding me of, with Zach Wilson, of the E.J. Manuel treatment that the Bills had. And then Miami, they're getting Mike White as a quarterback. So what's going to happen between Mike White and Tua Tagovailoa? Tua suffered, if I'm correct, 3 concussions this most recent season. That's a very short amount of time. He needs to think about his future off the playing field and overall his health, his mental health as well. And then Mike White, he could be a starter on a team. If he went to a team like the Panthers, if they did not get Sam Darnold back, then I could see Mike White being the QB1 on the Carolina Panthers. Mike White's the kind of guy that could be a starter, but at the end will probably be a very solid second-string guy to come up if someone gets injured. So that's going to be an interesting case, and definitely something. If you're a Miami Dolphins fan overall, if you have a team in the AFC East division, that's definitely something to monitor, because Mike White and Tua Tagovailoa are 2 totally different players, and I cannot stress that enough. I feel like Mike White wouldn't have been as bad with the Jets in 2022 if they did not play him in the Seattle Seahawks game. Mike White, he was playing with broken ribs. You could see 100% he was rushed back. And Zach Wilson, he was benched twice last season. He was so bad that the Jets risked Mike White's career, his football career, because they thought that they would have a better chance with Mike White over Zach Wilson. Maybe Chris Streveler will be a dark horse. Chris Streveler, he is a multi-threat. If the Jets do not want to give up a lot of money or a lot of picks to get Lamar Jackson, then go with Chris Streveler then. He could run the ball very fast, and he could throw the ball at a consistent rate. I feel like overall, though, if Chris Streveler ends up not having this quarterback career walkout, I could see Streveler switching to a tight end, because that's what he reminds me most of, is a tight end. He doesn't seem like, he is a dual threat. He's a multi-threat quarterback, but he just gives off more of a tight end kind of play. At least to me. I'd love to know what you guys think about that. But yeah, as of now, it looks like Aaron Rodgers is not going to be a Jet. As I said, he will be a Jet. If not by Thursday, then he won't be a Jet. Nevertheless, though, I will keep you guys updated. I'm going to end this live stream. Subscribe to stay up to date. If he ends up being a Jet, I will make a video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great day. Take it easy, folks.